We are dumping a load of textiles in the black bin without it ever having an opportunity of being reused or recycled. And that is a travesty.
Around 92 million tons of clothing are discarded worldwide every year. It is essential to continue supporting and strengthening the work done by the used clothing sector that manages what is often misunderstood to be waste textiles. Used garments are not trash. All textiles can be reused and recycled.
The definition in Europe as such is misinforming people, because if everything which is given away is defined as textile waste until it's sorted, that's a misunderstanding which make people throw away a lot more than they should do, and also mix what is good reusable clothing with garbage. So this needs to be defined much more clear. We need to make sure that what is coming to the collectors is reusable stuff, and whatever else put then to the responsibility of the municipality at the recycling stations.
Definition of textile waste is not clear. It used to be that as long as clothing is exported from Europe, it's considered textile waste. We need to understand that second-hand clothing, they are products. You don't classify second-hand clothing as waste because they are garments for reuse. If you restrict the exportation of second-hand clothing, you're actually going to allow for the importation of cheap fast fashion from the likes of China. And that has more of a detrimental effect to the environment. We need to make sure policies are being established to enhance the trade, not to cause negative repercussions in the whole textile circularity. Reuse is important because in terms of the cost element, it's very cost effective. You're extending the lifespan of clothes, preventing them from ending up in landfills and all of that.
So reuse is really encourageable because what you're trying to do is extending that particular piece of item long time to be used and worn, other than recycling. Recycling, it's now at the end of it all. It's trying to retrieve the fiber. And as you all know, it's really a very challenging market out there, but producers are not willing to take it up. So it's really more for reuse than recycling.
The implementation of the Extended Producer Responsibility (EPR) for textiles demands that clothing producers must be responsible for their products throughout their life cycle. Thus, there will be many new innovations that will be taken in the search for greater textile recycling, and various companies in the used clothing sector are already joining forces in this field.
Sorting centers all over Europe has a history of working with recycling, maybe not making the final product, but then selling them on and let other ones make the final industrial wipers. Sorting centers have done a very good job to get as little as possible out to waste. Now what we are working on in Textile House, it is how we can close the loop. We try here really to find out how we can make new products out of what we have in recycling, which is about 20%. We partner up with other companies. We get the final wipers made and we will be the distributors. We are making a cooperation here in Slovakia who are making cover mats which can sell in our shops. We are making cooperation with a company in Holland where from the feathers we have in pillows, it is being cleaned, washed and made into new pillows. Next to that we have fiber sorting. We are taking the pullovers which cannot be sold as reuse because they are a little broken, they are out of shape. We sort them according to the fiber and then we are finding markets for all the different categories. The whole thing is how we can make sure that every fiber can be reused into making material and therefore save all the water, for instance, which you use when you are making a new t-shirt. We are very committed in order to close the loop.
In its quest for environmental protection and a world with less waste, the European Union has also proposed the Waste Framework Directive, which defines waste management, recycling, and recovery. This directive aims to avoid sending waste to landfills, improving human health, and caring for the environment and its resources. It requires member states to establish selective collection systems for used textiles, requiring the separation of textiles from general waste.
about waste, we have started a cooperation with a local heating company where we deliver the shredded textile waste, and we ensure that it is going for fuel recovery, and even what we need to deliver as pure waste, we are delivering it for incinerators, so none of our waste here is going for the landfills.
Our secondhand clothing industry is not a competitor for clothing producers. On the contrary, together we can contribute to a more sustainable world where we give textiles greater reuse and a new life after consumption. Together for a greener and more eco-friendly world.
Approximately 2.5 billion kilos of used clothing was traded globally just a few years ago. So you're talking about 10 billion items of clothing being collected, being sorted, being traded. That means that we are only trading about 10% of what is put on the market. The vast majority of clothing is not collected for sorting, reuse, recycling. That's a huge lost opportunity.
Tenemos que hacer que la opinión pública distinga entre lo que es la reutilización y lo que es el reciclaje. No es lo mismo. En una camisa hay vida, hay historias y hay un largo camino antes de que se convierta de nuevo en un residuo. Por lo tanto, uno de nuestros papeles es explicar bien qué beneficios ambientales tiene la reutilización. A quien le corresponde entrar en él y seguir en él es a los expertos en la reutilización. Ahora se lleva mucho que las marcas tengan sus propios corners de ropa de segunda mano y no está mal, pero los expertos en venta de ropa de segunda mano son los que llevamos haciendo esto más de 40 años. Las marcas bastante tienen con gestionar la responsabilidad ampliada y con tratar de cambiar su manera de ver el sector de una visión lineal a una visión circular. Y la segunda mano tendrá que especializarse en alargar la vida al máximo, pero dejar a cada uno que haga el trabajo en el que es experto.